everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sophie and I'm an illustrator based in Manchester, UK. If you're not already, make sure you're subscribed because you'll get more videos like this. And I also film loads of studio vlogs, so you'll get to see behind the scenes of an illustrator, like order packing and creating artwork. I really want to make more videos specifically like this as well, where I kind of give my experience from things I've learned as an illustrator and also kind of advice for other people who maybe want to start out or start a small business and whatnot. So this is something that I get a lot of questions about on Instagram. I'm going to talk about stockists today. I know that this can be quite a daunting aspect for anyone who's just starting out with a small business or any illustrators who want to get their prints and their work in brick and mortar stores. They are a great way to build up more streams of income. For a business to be sustainable, you can't just rely on like one avenue of income, like your online store or client work, because sometimes those things will be quieter some months. It's really good to have things that kind of guarantee you a monthly income. I have a few stockists now here in the UK in different areas, and I've worked with them for a few years, so hopefully this video can be quite helpful to those of you who are starting out. To be clear, I'm not like a wholesale expert or anything like that. This will just be kind of what I've learned and my experience, in the hope that it might help other people out. I would highly recommend you check out the podcast Let's Talk Wholesale. I will link it down below, and also Teresa's Facebook group and Instagram page, because she is an expert on wholesale and she gets loads of guests, including shop owners and people who have built their business around wholesale and working with stockists. So definitely check that out. Without further ado, let's jump into the video and let's start off with finding stockists. So where are these stockists? It can be quite daunting knowing where to start when it comes to looking for a stockist, but there's several different ways that you can find them or discover them or get yourself noticed. So first of all, you can simply walk into your nearest local stockist that you think would be suitable for your work and go in with some samples. Obviously, as I'm filming this, we're in lockdown in the UK, so that probably isn't a great option right now, but definitely in the future, when non-essential shops open again. Someone with anxiety, I totally understand that this can be quite nerve-wracking, and I was really nervous when I did it. Actually, a really nice way to meet a new potential stockist, because they can pretty much get to know you straight away face to face. They can see your work straight away and decide there and then if they think it's suitable for the store. They're more likely to remember you because you've gone and you've made the effort to introduce yourself and to go into store. I said I have actually done this before with one of my stockists, and pretty much straight there on the day they made an order. It can be a really proactive way of getting your products into a brick and mortar shop. Yeah, definitely do some research of places that are in your area that you can easily walk to or hop on the bus or train to. Obviously, if they're a bit too far away, this can be difficult. You can send samples to places in the post. I personally haven't done this, but in my part-time job, we often got people sending samples of cards to our store, and my manager would look at every single one of them that were sent in. Sometimes it wasn't the right fit, sometimes it was, so it's definitely worth doing. If you are going to send samples, make sure that you write a note, and if you know the shop owner's name, make sure you mention their name and include links and contact details where they can find you. Otherwise, if you send a sample and they don't know who it's from, you're probably not going to hear back from them. So just reiterating on the fact that shops are closed at the moment in the UK. Just because they're closed doesn't mean it's not worth getting in touch with them. A lot of them will be preparing to reopen, and I know for a fact that some of my stockists are asking for more stock from the current artists, and some places might be looking for new talent to refresh things when they do relaunch. So definitely still get in touch with those people. The way to find stockists is that sometimes they have call outs on social media and they will have applications to become a new artist with them. So make sure that you are following those places you want to get into on social media, and make sure you turn on notifications so that you can find out when they are doing these call outs. So sign up to their newsletter so you will find out via email, because obviously sometimes the algorithm, you miss stuff. So yeah, signing up to the newsletters is a good option. Make sure you have good quality images when you do apply. I guess it depends on the shop, they'll have different ways of applying. They might actually have a capture form on their website, or they may just want you to email with some examples. I would say make sure to kind of engage with their social media accounts, support them in ways by just commenting and liking, because they will probably remember you if you engage with them consistently, and they will be interested in people that are genuinely fans of their shop and like what they sell. Another way to get in touch with these places is of course to email. If you found someone online that you would like to work with, do send out emails. You need to bear in mind that they probably get tons of these every day, so you really need to pitch yourself with the body of text in the email. Make sure you've actually researched the shop and that you tailor what you say to them, so you don't use any templates, because people can totally tell when you have. I talk about what you can bring to them, like what kind of products you can offer that they don't already have, tell them why you like the shop, tell them where you discovered them, if you visited them in the past, or if you've had any nice experiences there, or if you bought anything from their current artist. It's also important to check if the shop is right for you before applying. Like, it might look like a good opportunity, but if you actually go on their website and, for instance, if they sell mainly earthy toned stuff and neutrals, maybe someone like me who sells like really bright kind of garish coloured art might not be the best fit for them, and that's okay. Like, it kind of saves you time and them time to figure out whether it actually would work for you. So just make everything easy for them to navigate. So make sure you have clear photos, and make sure to add line sheets if you have them. We'll talk about that soon. Or just a link to your online store or portfolio or Instagram. Make it as quick and as easy as possible for them to see what you sell, because like I say, they get loads of emails, so if you kind of don't have any links or photos, they might not get back to you because they've got a lot to do. So email is definitely better than DM or inbox or direct message. First of all, because sometimes the direct message goes to message requests, so they might not even see it at all, and also they probably get tons of DMs from people and bots and things, so you could potentially get lost in them. And I also just think emails look a lot more professional, and people do sit down to read their emails, so you're much more likely to hear something back from them if you do it that way. Another way to find new stockists is to take part in trade shows. I personally haven't done this yet, but I know people that have. So basically, this is where those shop owners will go to an expo where brands and artists and small businesses have booths and like examples of their work, and they can place orders with them there and then. Probably a good thing to do if you want to get into quite a lot of stockists. I personally don't feel ready to do a trade show. They can be quite expensive to take part in, like probably around $1,000 or more, so it might not be the best if you're just starting out and you've only got quite a small product range. One thing you could do is you could split the cost of a booth with a couple of other artists, and then you each have a wall that you display your things on, and that could be a way to make it a lot more cost effective. What I gather, they are a great way of meeting people face to face, and that you wouldn't usually be able to meet all under the same roof. Again, they're not happening so much at the moment, but hopefully they will come back towards the end of this year. And the Let's Talk Wholesale podcast is great because there's often a lot of retailers that talk about their experience at trade shows and what they like to see, so definitely give that a listen. Also have found stockists just from bit of good luck, but also being in the right place at the right time. Doing markets and fairs and conventions, I've sometimes met people who've gone around and they happen to be opening a new shop and they've got in touch with me after that event. I've met a stockist after doing a marketing meetup event. Also been lucky enough to have people approach me via email asking if I'd like to be part of the shop, because I've been fairly active on social media, so definitely worth posting what you do and behind the scenes and the products you sell actively online. So now I'm gonna kind of run you through the different kind of contracts that stockists have with their artists. First up, we have wholesale, which I feel like is the most common agreement shops tend to have. Wholesale, they will place an order with you up front and then you will send the stock after they have ordered. So this means you get payment straight away, and hopefully they will order a few times from you a year. Usually they will place quite a large order in hopes that you will offer them a discount on your products. Obviously the shop needs to make a profit themselves. That's why pricing your products well is quite important, so that you will always make a profit for yourself too. Standard tends to be 60-40. You offer 60% off your retail price. What I usually do to figure out my price is find out what I would be happy with for a wholesale price in terms of profit and covering my time and all of that, and then I double that to get my RRP. Some people might then charge less in their Etsy or online shop or at markets, but I tend to keep it as a blanket price for everything. This are probably going to adjust the RRP anyway. They might use your suggested one, or they might make it more or less depending on what they think is best for their shop. Said I do offer 3 for 2 on my greeting cards at markets and in my store. I find that you don't want to offer wholesale or that it doesn't work for you. Especially if you make quite bespoke items and things that take a lot of time, that would be hard to produce a high quantity for. For example, I don't offer wholesale on any clay items or zines as of yet. The clay stuff I do in quite small quantities and it takes a long time, and the zines tend to be quite a low cost anyway, and I donate money to charity for one of them, so I kind of didn't bother adding them to my line sheets. But there's a lot of items that I make that I can afford to offer a discount on. Like for example, my risograph prints, I get them printed at a local place and I tend to do editions of 50 at a time. So because I've ordered a bigger number, it means that they've cost less per item, if that makes sense. The same goes for like greeting cards and things like that. So it is a good idea if you are an artist to look into selling smaller pieces of merch. If you tend to sell originals, maybe look at making prints or badges and things like that, because then you'll have something that you can offer more widely to these shops. When someone does want to place a wholesale order with you, they'll generally ask for either your line sheet or a catalogue, and they might ask for an order form as well. I'm going to show you a little screen recording of my line sheets just to show you what I use. Okay, so I thought I would just show you my line sheets. So you can either make line sheets like this or a product catalogue. To be honest, I feel like I've got okay with these that are really basic and simple. My stockists haven't really asked for anything more than this. A product catalogue might be more suitable if you are doing a trade show and you want fancier images and a more sophisticated layout with product shots in situ, and you might want to print those off to hand out to people that visit your booth. But yeah, like I say, I've got on fine with this. So I've just got my name here. I've kind of personalised it a bit with these hand lettered titles, and I've got like my website and my email and my phone number, which I have put out. Also got here my minimum order information. This is something that I've kind of learned over the years, is that it's good to have a minimum order price. Past I didn't have one, and I once got a wholesale order for just £30, which, you know, when you're offering this discount, you want to kind of make it worth it. So I've changed it to a minimum order of £100 now. I now also offer free tracked shipping to the stockist, so that's a benefit of ordering with me. I've also popped here that I am not VAT registered. This is kind of a tricky subject at the moment because of Brexit. I think a lot of people are registering for VAT. I'm still just getting my head around what I need to do, but because I sell on Etsy, VAT is already taken, so I don't have to worry about it with online sales. I've not had my stockers get in touch tell me that I need to change anything with regards to this, but it's a good idea to put whether you are registered or not, because then they know how to price it on their end. So it's just good information to have. Yeah, it's just a really basic layout. I just found a template online. You can get several different templates for line sheets and wholesale catalogs. Set it with InDesign and just keep it really simple. So I've got my greeting card section. I do write a little bit about the product that we've got here and why it would be good for their shop. And then I've just got really simple pictures that show you what the product is, my wholesale price, my RRP, a little description of the product and a product code. Sometimes when I give my order form, my stockists will use this. Sometimes it's a bit more casual and they'll just have a look and request it by the title dated. I actually need to do this now that we're into the new year and there's been some new products. So yeah, I've got a print section, la-di-da, and there's quite a lot of prints, pins and badges, buttons. Yeah, so you get the idea. Just really simple, gets to the point, easy to navigate, and it's got all the important information at the top there. While I'm here, I thought I'd also show you what I use to invoice my stockists. So I just use Word. I did get a template again online. There's loads of them if you just want a really basic invoice. Some people personalize theirs more, but I find with this, I've got my little logo. This is actually an older logo. I do need to replace that. If someone's placed a wholesale order with you, you'll need to invoice them. Sometimes sale or return places need one as well. Good to have a document ready to go. So up here, I've just got the invoice number. So if it's the first one with that place, you put number 1 and you just continue with more invoices as you work with them. You've got the date. Got this little header here where I put my name, my address, my phone number, my email, and I also put my national insurance number, but obviously I'm not gonna pop those in this video. You put the shop's name or the person you're working with here, and you put their address as well. And then I've just got like a little table here where I put in the quantity of the item in this column, and then a short product description. I also just put like the wholesale and RRP price to remind them again, and then you put the total down here, that's what they owe you, and then I usually have my bank details here so that they can make a payment to that account. Obviously I've not included them in this again, and yeah, that's just what I use to invoice places, and this will be handy to have as well when you work with clients or you do illustration work and all of that. Hello, it's Editing Soph here. I forgot to mention that some places require a delivery note when you're dropping off stock. Most of my stockists don't, they're a bit more casual in that sense, but just in case they do, it's pretty much the same thing as an invoice, except you're not invoicing them for money, you're just detailing what stock you dropped off, and that's just so both you and the shop can keep track of what you've got in, but some places use them, some places don't. So another contract that stockists often use is sale or return. This is more common with smaller shops, and it means that they have a bit of a closer relationship with the artists and that they're in touch with them on a monthly basis. So sale or return tends to be a low risk for both parties, because if it's not working for the shop, they can just send it you back. They haven't paid up front. The same for you as well, because there's not any upfront costs at your end, and if your stock doesn't sell, you'll get it back and then you can sell it in other places. Sale or return places tend to pay you monthly, so if the footfall of that shop is good, then you're kind of guaranteed that monthly income, which is great. They tend to take anywhere between 40 to 50 or 60% commission off what you sell, and that tends to depend on the location. So if you're in quite a central place, it might be a higher commission. If you're in more of suburbia, it might be a bit lower. Even if the cost of the commission seems high, if they're in a place that you know is quite busy, then that can be really great for you. Places will expect you to cover postage, both with sending your stock to them or sending back to you, but some places will cover both of those. It all depends, and every single stockist will have their own different contract and way of doing things. Anything that doesn't sell gets returned. I think I mostly work on a sale or return basis with most of my stockists, and I feel like it does work for me because anything that hasn't been selling well in my shop, I can trial with them and send them some stuff. Might do differently depending on that location or the demographic of their customers, and having a few sale or return places paying me monthly, it does add up and it really helps out, especially in those quieter months. So another way that some stockers work is with a rent-a-shelf basis. So they will have shelves or units that you can rent a monthly cost, and similar to sale or return, depending on where the shop's located, it might be more expensive or more affordable. You sometimes take commission as well, so there's obviously a couple of upfront costs with this, but it does guarantee you that placement in that location, and you get a more dedicated space to your work. I think I prefer when items are mixed in based on what they are, so I think I'd rather have my cards amongst all the other greeting cards. If the footfall is good, then the profit you make on that monthly payment will be good. Decide what stock to send them as well, and if you're local, you can just go and top up your shelves when you can, or go and pick up some stuff that you don't think is selling well. These places may need you to cover a shift, and they might work in sort of like a co-op kind of way. I currently only have one stockist where I do this rent-a-shelf agreement. I personally feel like this method doesn't work for me as well as sale or return or wholesale, because if you don't make a profit on months where it's quiet, you can lose sales on the stock that is there and that isn't selling in your shop or at markets. Just personally how I found it. It can be great for emerging artists, and when I did start out with stockists, it was really helpful to get that experience and to work in that retail environment but with my own products, and kind of just get to grips with how it works. It's been helpful for you if you've been wondering about getting your products into stockists. I really think they're so great for building up that monthly income and putting your eggs in several baskets, and it's really good to have that relationship with the shop owners. You kind of get to know the artists that are in there as well, and you kind of have nice little chats when you go in to drop stuff off. And obviously this can be a bit of a lonely profession, so it's definitely a nice way of building a community. So you can reach customers that you might not have been able to reach otherwise online or with your store, because they can just go right up there and look at your product face to face. I just want to say, don't let rejection put you off. There might be some places that don't necessarily want to work with you now. Once you build up your product range and you figure out your pricing and all of that, it could be worth applying again. This has actually happened to me before. One stockist of mine told me my prices didn't work for them, and then I worked on the kind of products that I sold and did more research on my pricing, and then I got in touch with them again like a couple of years later, and they're like, yeah, we'd like to work with you again. So yeah, rejection just happens. It's normal. They might just be really full of artists at the moment. Just be that your style doesn't fit in with what they sell, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to fit in other places that are more to your niche or whatever. So just keep trying, just keep writing those emails and engaging on social media, and you will find the places that work best for you. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, give this video a like because that really helps me out, and again, make sure you're subscribed if you're not. I'm definitely going to make more of these videos. I think I will make one on markets because I get asked a lot about that as well. And if you have any suggestions or other topics you'd like me to cover, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear them. And if you did enjoy this kind of free resource and you wanted to give some kind of virtual tip, please don't feel obliged to. Just by watching this, you are supporting me. But I do have a Ko-fi account where you can buy me a coffee, you can get a colouring page in exchange for. If you do that, I really appreciate it, and thank you so much. So yeah, I will catch you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!